Hello everyone. Today we will talk about a religion that tries to help everyone out of the sufferings of life. Buddhism. What is Buddhism? In our AP World History, we need to know several major religions, including Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, Confucianism, Taoism, and of course, Buddhism, which interestingly is represented by a whale called the Whale of Dharma. By the end of the class, we will learn more about the meaning of this symbol. When did Buddhism start? If we draw a timeline, and the ending point is today, the 21st century, we need to go all the way back, beyond the time of Jesus Christ, to the 6th century BCE, which is around 2,500 years from now, in what we call an exile age. Sages and heroes emerged from all parts of the world. Confucius and Lao Tzu in China, Zoroaster in Persia, Hebrew prophets and Greek thinkers all sought new ideas and wisdom. The Buddha also lived in this time. Imagine, if he could travel to the east, he would meet Confucius himself. To the west, if he lived for over 100 years, he might have a debate with Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Of course, none of this happened, because one would have to cross over the Himalayan mountains and the Mediterranean Sea. As we see from this map, Buddhism started in today's Nepal, on the Indian subcontinent, Buddha's birthplace. Over the centuries, it spread from a small kingdom to all parts of India, reaching Central Asia, China, Korea, and Japan, and Southeast Asia, including Thailand, Cambodia, and Sri Lanka. But who was this mysterious figure, the Buddha? Was he a real person in history? Well, he was a real person, yes. And his name was Siddhartha Gautama. He was also known as Shakyamuni, the sage of his clan, and later as the Buddha, meaning the enlightened one. Most interestingly, he was a prince from a small kingdom. Now, when we think of princes, we imagine these figures: handsome, smart young men looking for the love of their lives, as in any Disney movie. Siddhartha was also handsome and smart, but his life was not so much about the pursuit of love than the understanding and overcome of sufferings. His extraordinary fate had been sealed before his birth. When his mother, the queen, dreamed of a white elephant offering a white lotus and entering her belly, a prophecy was then made by an old sage, saying that the prince would have to choose from two ways: to become a great conqueror of the whole world, or to turn into a spiritual teacher. It turned out that, at the age of 29, Prince Siddhartha left home and abandoned his throne, obviously choosing the second path. But why did he choose this spiritual path? In the palace, Prince Siddhartha enjoyed a life of pure pleasure, surrounded by delicious food, pleasing music, and beautiful dancing girls. He had everything he wanted, yet he felt sad and disillusioned. Once, when he traveled outside the palace, he saw an old man, and was struck by the reality that one does not stay young forever. Even a prince would become old. Can you imagine Snow White and Cinderella in their 70s and 80s, It must be terrible, right? Next, he met a sick man and was told that the pain of illness happened to all of us. Third, he saw a dead body. To his dismay, he realized that everyone must die. No matter how much you love someone, death will someday grab them from you. The tragic reality of human life made him think. Even as a prince, I will also become old, I will also become ill, and I will also die. Such is the fate of everyone. So, what's the point of life? What's the meaning of all these sufferings? Is there no escape? These questions troubled the young prince deeply. Finally, he met with a monk who inspired him to seek salvation from this miserable life. Together, these encounters with the old, the sick, the dead, and the monk are known as the Four Encounters, which dramatically changed Prince Siddhartha's life. Determined to seek a solution to the sufferings, Siddhartha gave up his royal clothes, shaved his head, abandoned his family, and embarked on a new journey into the deep woods, where he began to live as a monk. After years of hard practice, Siddhartha, when sitting under a Bodhi tree for 49 days of meditation, finally reached enlightenment. Siddhartha, the prince, was no more, but he was reborn and became the Buddha. Now, who also sat under a tree and got enlightened? Isaac Newton! Maybe we all should sit under trees more often, and we'd be smarter. After enlightenment, the Buddha had his first sermon or first teaching at Deer Park, attracting many disciples and followers. When he died at the age of 80, he was said to enter a state of nirvana, a state of perfect peace and internal tranquility, like the blowing out of a candle, where one is free from all sufferings, from the endless cycle of life and death. As described in the poem, I am calm, I control my mind. Taking a lamp, I enter my cell. Thinking of sleep, I sit on my bed. I touch the wick, the lamp goes out. Nirvana, my mind is free. To our last question, what messages did the Buddha leave us? How does one obtain enlightenment? Buddha's teaching has been summarized as the Four Noble Truths. Truth number 1, life is full of sufferings, from birth to childhood, to adulthood, and eventually death. We experience pain, old age, disease, and ultimately death. We also suffer from loneliness, frustration, boredom, fear, embarrassment, and so much more. It is like a cycle that goes on and on. Truth number 2, suffering is caused by our own desire for money, for fame, for cars and houses, and for all kinds of bodily pleasures. Truth number 3, there is an end to all these sufferings. The key is to remove all our desire, ill will, and ignorance, so that we can experience absolute happiness, perfect wisdom, and peace. In short, we have to learn to let it go, let the cravings go, and learn to live each day and each moment. Truth number 4, we have to follow the Eightfold Path to reach enlightenment. The 8 elements include right view, thought, speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, and concentration. Together, they compose a wheel, the symbol we look at the very beginning. Now, we know the wheel has something to do with the Eightfold Path. Finally, to summarize our class in Buddha's own words, our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Suffering follows an evil thought, as the wheels of a cart follow the oxen that draw it. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Joy follows a pure thought, like a shadow that never leaves.